Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today this video will be on inversions. I hear a couple of people saying inventions. It's actually inversions. So what we basically mean when we talk about inversions are playing a particular chord with a different structure of notes. For instance, when I have this to be my C major chord, and I want to invert this chord, though it's the same chord, but I'm changing the arrangement of the notes. It's still a C major chord, but this is the first inversion of the chord. When I play this is also the second inversion of the chord. So we just change the structure of the notes, but then we maintain the chord. So we have two types of inversion. We have the first inversion and we have the second inversion. For instance, as I just illustrated in key C, this will be our root chord. Our root chord is the chord we want to invert. Or the actual chord we want to play. Currently, I'm playing C major chord. So if I want to do my first inversion, this being my C major chord, I'll take the first note of the chord, which is C, and come and identify another C note on my right. So from this C, the next C on my right is this C. So having this to be our root chord, taking this C away, looking for another C on my right, then I have this to be my first inversion of C major chord. And for the second inversion too, I take away the current first note, which was the second note for the root chord, this note. Then I come and find the same note on my right. So when I take this note away, then it's a mi in key C, do re mi, so mi, another mi is here. So with the same chord, I can play this as my C major chord. I can play this as my C major chord, this as my C major chord, and I can play this as my C major chord. So this is basically what we mean by inversions, and we can do it for all the keys. Let's move to C sharp. So we have this to be our C sharp major chord. So to invert this chord, or to play the first inversion of this chord, we just have to take this note away, which is our do, away, and then find another do on our right. This will be the first inversion for C sharp major chord. And for the second inversion, we'll take the mi away and then look for another mi. So we have to be our C sharp major chord, still C sharp major chord, still C sharp major chord. We've just changed the voicing through different inversions, first and second inversion. Key D, same applies to key D. Key D major chord. So if I want the first inversion, I just take the do away and then find the do, another do on my right, and I still have this to be my do. And for my second inversion, I take my mi away and I find another mi here. So this chord is the same as this chord, but then they just have different voicings, but it's the same chord, D major chord. When we move to E flat, the same thing applies to E flat. This is our E flat major chord. So our first inversion will be this, and our second inversion will be this. since I've explained it, for the rest of the course I'll just be doing the inversions without taking my time to show them note by note. So with key E, this is our root chord, this is our first inversion, and this is our second inversion. Key F, which is a very common key that most of us enjoy playing. This is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key F sharp, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key G, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key A flat, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key A, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key B flat, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. Key B, this is our root chord, our first inversion, and our second inversion. So let's see how important these inversions are. For instance, in key C, we learned in the previous videos that we have this to be our do chord, our fa chord, and our so chord. Our do chord, our fa chord, and our so chord. Now, using the inversions, I want to try and limit my hand movement. So I'll look for an inversion of the fa and an inversion of the so that will help me to limit my movement. That instead of playing my do and then moving all the way here to play my fa and then moving all the way here to play my so, I'll find a way of playing it around this area without much movement. So with our fa, this is our fa in key C. So our first inversion of this fa in key C, which also happens to be F major, will be this, because we take this one away and come and replace it there. And our second inversion, we take this one away and then we have this, meaning that now this chord is the same as this chord and it still happens to be the fa. So now I can play my do and my fa like this, instead of playing do and walking all the way here to play my fa. That's the beauty of the inversions. It helps you to limit your movement, because I could have played do and I'll play my fa and I'll play my so. Here is the case, because of the inversion, I can play my do here and quickly play my fa by just moving these two fingers. Now coming back to the so, this is so in key C. I'm trying to play do, fa, so. In the previous video we did our do, fa, so like this, do, fa, so, but I'm trying to limit my movement. So I already spoke about how I got this fa. So I have do, fa. Now with my so in key C, this is my so in key C. With this so, I'll try and then find the first inversion. So I'll take this so away and find this so here, making the first inversion. Then I'll take this one away and come and find another T here, making the second inversion. Meaning that this so is the same as this so. This chord so is the same as this so, as this one is an inversion of the root chord. So instead of playing do, fa, so, we can simply play do, fa, so, do, fa, so, and it applies to all the keys. In key C sharp, we looked at our do, fa, so to be do, fa, so, do, fa, so. But using the inversions and what I illustrated in C, we can do do, fa, so, do, fa, so. Key D, the same thing, do, fa, so. I'm still using the inversions, do, fa, so. The same for key E flat, do, fa, so, do, fa, so. Key E, do, fa, so. Key E, do, fa, so. Key F, do, fa, so. Do, fa, so. Key F sharp, do, fa, so. Do, fa, so. Key G, do, fa, so. Key A flat, do, fa, so. Key A, do, fa, so. Key B flat, do, fa, so. Key B, do, fa, so. So the inversions basically help you to limit your movement. For instance, if I want to play do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, and then I play it do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do. With the inversions, I can limit my movement and just play do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, which is easier and better in terms of the movements of your hands around it. So you can have the same thing to be do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do. But initially, without the inversions, we have to do move all the way here, fa, all the way here, so, all the way here, la, and come back to our fa, to our so, to our do. Yeah. Do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do. But with the inversions, we have something like do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do. Let me illustrate the same thing in C sharp, and I think that will be all for this video. So with the same inversions, if I want to do the same do, fa, so, la in C sharp without the inversions, I'll have them to be fa, so, la, fa, so, do, fa, so, la, fa, so. But with the inversions, I have it to be do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, which is quite easier and then more flexible to play. Do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do, fa, so, la, fa, so, do. So let's all try and then using the inversions, as it will help us, especially when what we are playing demands a little speed. Using the inversions will be very important there, because it will be difficult moving from a do to come and play a la here, coming to play a re here, to come to play a so here, come to play a do. Meanwhile, you can just use the inversions and then simplify everything. Once you want to play some chords at a faster rate, it will be best if you use the inversions, so that you limit your movement and focus on the chords, playing all the notes to keep the quality, other than moving your hands around the keyboard and then missing some of the notes because you are running out of time. As in, when you are supposed to play the chord is passing, or when you are supposed to play the chord is elapsing, so you have to quickly move to the next chord, causing you to hit some wrong notes. So that will be all for this video. We just looked at inversions, chord inversions, root chord, first inversion and second inversion. Thank you for watching this video.